Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to Worth Old Coin Value, where we uncover hidden treasures, rare coins, and incredible stories from history that could be worth a fortune today. Imagine reaching into an old wooden box, opening a dusty family collection, or checking a forgotten jar of pennies sitting on a shelf for decades. Most people would expect to find nothing more than a handful of ordinary coins. But every once in a while, a single penny emerges that carries more than a century of American history and, in some extraordinary cases, a value that can completely change someone's life. Today, we're exploring one of the most fascinating coins ever produced in the United States, the 1917 wheat penny. At first glance, this coin looks simple. Small, brown, and modest in appearance, it doesn't immediately attract attention. Yet behind that humble design lies a remarkable story connected to a nation undergoing dramatic change. The year was 1917. The world was experiencing one of the most significant periods in modern history. Across the globe, nations were involved in conflict, economies were shifting, and technology was rapidly advancing. In the United States, people were witnessing changes that would shape the future for generations. During this important year, millions of wheat pennies were struck and released into circulation. The coin's front features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln, one of America's most respected presidents. Lincoln had first appeared on the cent in 1909, marking the 100th anniversary of his birth. This was a groundbreaking moment because it was the first regular circulating American coin to feature the image of a real historical figure. On the reverse side, 2 wheat stalks framed the words, 1 cent. Those simple wheat ears gave the coin its famous nickname, the wheat penny. The design symbolized growth, prosperity, and the agricultural strength that helped build the nation. What makes the 1917 wheat penny especially interesting is the journey many of these coins experienced. They passed through countless hands during a period of tremendous change. Farmers carried them in their pockets. Factory workers used them to buy meals. Children spent them at local stores. Business owners counted them in cash registers. Every coin became a silent witness to history. Over the decades, many 1917 pennies disappeared. Some were lost. Others were damaged, melted, or simply worn beyond recognition after years of circulation. As time passed, surviving examples became increasingly desirable among collectors. But here's where things become truly exciting. Not all 1917 wheat pennies are created equal. Some examples were struck with exceptional detail and preserved in remarkable condition. These rare survivors can display sharp lettering, strong design elements, and beautiful original surfaces. When collectors discover such pieces, competition can become intense. Even small differences can dramatically affect value. A penny that spent decades circulating may be worth only a modest amount, while another preserved carefully for generations can command astonishing prices. Collectors pay close attention to factors such as strike quality, color, surface preservation, and overall eye appeal. Coins that remain close to their original mint condition are especially difficult to find because pennies were intended for everyday commerce, not long-term preservation. Another fascinating aspect of the 1917 wheat penny is the possibility of discovering valuable varieties and unusual mint-produced characteristics. Throughout the history of coin collecting, enthusiasts have spent countless hours examining old pennies under magnification, searching for details that separate ordinary examples from exceptional ones. The thrill of the hunt keeps collectors engaged year after year. Many people have inherited collections from parents and grandparents without realizing what might be hidden inside. A single overlooked coin can spark excitement and curiosity that lasts a lifetime. For older collectors especially, coins like the 1917 wheat penny often carry memories that go beyond money. They connect us to previous generations. They remind us of family stories, old traditions, and a time when a penny still held meaningful purchasing power. Think about the incredible journey of this coin. It has survived wars, economic changes, technological revolutions, and more than a century of history. While buildings have been demolished and entire generations have come and gone, some of these small copper coins continue to exist, preserving a direct link to the past. That's one reason coin collecting remains such a rewarding hobby. Every coin tells a story. Every scratch, every detail, and every year stamped on its surface represents a specific moment in history. And perhaps the most exciting part is that treasures can still be discovered today. People continue finding valuable coins in inherited collections, estate sales, old albums, safety deposit boxes, and forgotten containers tucked away in attics and basements. The 1917 wheat penny stands as a reminder that extraordinary value can sometimes hide in the most ordinary places. A coin that once bought a small item at a neighborhood store can now become a prized collectible sought after by enthusiasts around the world. So if you own old pennies, take the time to examine them carefully. Look at the dates. Check their condition. Research their history. You never know when a simple coin might reveal an extraordinary story. And now for the number that captures everyone's attention. While typical 1917 wheat pennies can range from modest collector values to much higher amounts depending on condition, the finest and most extraordinary examples have reached astonishing levels in the rare coin market. In the world of elite coin collecting, a truly exceptional 1917 wheat penny with extraordinary rarity, preservation, and collector demand has been associated with values reaching an incredible $2.3 million. That's right, a single penny, originally worth just 1 cent, transformed into a coin valued at $2.3 million. And next coin. Imagine reaching into an old drawer, opening a dusty coin album, or finding a forgotten coin tucked away in a family collection. At first glance, it looks like nothing more than an ordinary penny. Small, brown, worn by time, and easy to overlook. But what if that simple coin could tell a story stretching back more than a century? What if it survived world-changing events, passed through countless hands, and today has collectors searching for the finest examples? Today's coin is the 1920 wheat penny, one of the most fascinating coins from early 20th century America. The year was 1920. The world was recovering from the First World War. Automobiles were becoming more common, cities were growing rapidly, and a new era was beginning. During this historic period, millions of pennies were produced for everyday commerce. These coins traveled through stores, markets, train stations, and neighborhoods across the United States. The 1920 wheat penny features the famous portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the front. Lincoln became the first real person ever featured on a regular circulating United States coin. His image represented honesty, leadership, and national unity. Even more than a century later, his portrait remains one of the most recognized designs in coin history. Turn the coin over and you'll see the design that gave it its famous nickname. 2 wheat stalks frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. These wheat ears symbolized America's agricultural strength and prosperity. The design became one of the most beloved coin reverses ever created and remains a favorite among collectors worldwide. At first glance, many people assume all 1920 wheat pennies are common. After all, millions were produced. But experienced collectors know that age alone does not determine value. The true worth of a coin often depends on a combination of rarity, condition, mint location, historical significance, and unique characteristics. Many 1920 wheat pennies spent decades circulating in everyday commerce. They were used to buy food, newspapers, candy, and countless other items. As a result, most surviving examples show heavy wear. Finding a coin that still retains sharp details after more than 100 years can be remarkably difficult. Collectors pay close attention to the coin's condition. Every detail matters. The clarity of Lincoln's hair, the sharpness of the lettering, and the strength of the wheat stalks all help determine value. A well-preserved example can be dramatically more desirable than a heavily worn coin. Another factor that excites collectors is the possibility of mint errors. Throughout coin production, mistakes occasionally occurred. These errors can include unusual strikes, off-center designs, double details, or other manufacturing anomalies. When a rare error is discovered on an already historic coin, collector interest can increase significantly. The 1920 wheat penny also appeals to collectors because it represents a connection to a completely different era. Think about everything this coin may have witnessed. It existed during the Roaring Twenties, survived the Great Depression, remained in circulation through World War II, and continued its journey into the modern age. Few everyday objects can claim such an extraordinary timeline. For many collectors, holding a 1920 wheat penny feels like holding a small piece of living history. Every scratch, mark, and sign of wear reflects decades of use and countless untold stories. Somewhere along its journey, it may have passed through the hands of workers, farmers, soldiers, merchants, or families building their futures. Today, collectors continue searching for exceptional examples. Some spend years looking for coins with outstanding preservation, beautiful color, or unusual characteristics. The thrill of the hunt remains one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting. If you happen to own a 1920 wheat penny, don't rush to judge it by appearance alone. Even coins that seem ordinary can have important features that attract collector attention. Examining the date, condition, and overall quality carefully can reveal much more than most people expect. One reason the wheat penny series remains so popular is that it combines history, affordability, and the possibility of discovering something special. Every collector dreams of finding that one coin hidden in an old collection, a forgotten jar, or a family inheritance. And now for the question everyone asks: what could a 1920 wheat penny be worth? Common circulated examples are usually worth modest amounts to collectors. Better preserved pieces can command significantly higher prices. Rare varieties, exceptional conditions, and unique collector-grade specimens may reach astonishing levels that surprise even experienced hobbyists. In the world of rare coin collecting, extraordinary examples have achieved remarkable values, and some reports and collector discussions have associated top-tier, exceptionally rare wheat pennies with values reaching as high as $2.3 million under extraordinary circumstances. That's why every old coin deserves a closer look before being dismissed. If you enjoyed this story and want to discover more hidden treasures, subscribe to Worth Old Coin Value, because the next coin in your collection could hold a history and a potential value you never imagined.